The movie begins with Geralt sniffing a leaf when his companion ℭ𝔯𝔯 jokes, asking if he plans to eat it. Geralt replies that he's starving, but not that starving. He's tracking the scent of a monster, an ℭ𝔯𝔯𝔮. This beast is known for its rock-climbing skills and ability to swim like a torpedo. As they search the area, the ℭ𝔯𝔯𝔮 suddenly bursts from the mountains and lunges at Geralt. Despite the monster's size and strength, Geralt holds his ground, fighting with fierce swordplay and bursts of magic. The ℭ𝔯𝔯𝔮 tries to drag him into the ocean to drown him, but Geralt refuses to go down easily. When the monster sees fire ignite in his palm, it retreats, realizing it's losing. Geralt quickly uses his magic to freeze the surrounding water, trapping it in place. Just as he's about to kill it, a group of mermaids swims up and pleads for its life. They explain that the ℭ𝔯𝔯𝔮 isn't evil. It doesn't eat humans, only animals. It attacked the village simply because it was hungry. Geralt, convinced by their plea, lets the beast go and asks the mermaids to give him a lift back to land. Under the ocean, a tense meeting is held among the sea creatures. They're angry and frustrated, saying their children can't even feed themselves anymore due to human interference. Hiring a witcher to kill the ℭ𝔯𝔯𝔮 was the final straw. The sea folk demand war, but the king of the ocean creatures insists on maintaining peace, at least for now. One creature accuses the king of being too soft because his daughter, Princess Sheena, is in love with a human prince named Aglovale. After heavy protests, the queen agrees to consider their proposal for war, but Sheena disagrees. She believes her love for Aglovale could unite both worlds. Surprisingly, the queen's sister, ℎ𝔠𝔥𝔯, supports Sheena's view. She argues that peace might come not from bloodshed, but from marriage. The king, however, refuses to allow his daughter to marry a human. During the argument, we learn that ℎ𝔠𝔥𝔯 was once in love with the king himself, before he chose her sister as queen. The queen angrily reminds her of that betrayal and banishes her from the meeting. Meanwhile, at a bar, ℭ𝔯𝔯 questions Geralt about sparing the ℭ𝔯𝔯𝔮. Geralt explains that the monster didn't kill anyone, and maybe, just maybe, the humans are the villains in this case. The bartender brings them beer and meat, but later snatches it away. They can't pay. ℭ𝔯𝔯𝔮 is frustrated. Geralt may have principles, but those morals haven't made them rich. ℭ𝔯𝔯𝔮 reminds him that they came to this town to avoid running into his terrifying witch ex-girlfriend. A flashback reveals Geralt once loved a powerful woman named Yennefer. As they get kicked out of the bar, a messenger from the palace appears and offers ℭ𝔯𝔯𝔮 a job performing at tomorrow's royal festival. He's a skilled bard, and the king wants top talent for the event. At the festival, ℭ𝔯𝔯𝔮 reconnects with Essie, an old childhood friend who got him the gig. He introduces her to Geralt, and the way they hold hands, just a little too long, hints at a possible spark. We flash back to ℭ𝔯𝔯𝔮's childhood. He couldn't swim and was bullied mercilessly by kids who once pushed him into the river. When he barely escaped drowning, they tried to choke him, until Essie stepped in and stopped them. That's how they met. ℭ𝔯𝔯𝔮 becomes furious when one of those bullies, Zeist, breaks his guitar. When ℭ𝔯𝔯𝔮 mouths off, Zeist tries to attack him, but Essie floors him with a punch. Geralt asks what happened to Zeist, and ℭ𝔯𝔯𝔮 replies that Zeist is actually a royal bastard and probably died of syphilis. That turns out to be wrong. When the king Geralt arrives at the festival with his son, Prince Aglovale, ℭ𝔯𝔯𝔮 is stunned to see Zeist now serving as commander of the royal guard. He's the prince's military advisor. People murmur angrily about the king. Essie explains that 5 divers have been killed recently, and no one's been held responsible. Many suspect the mermaids, who are territorial, but the royals won't retaliate, because Aglovale is in love with Sheena, the mermaid princess. As the festival goes on, Geralt steps outside for air. Elsewhere, a group of divers collects shells and fish from the sea to sell, but a group of mermaids ambushes and kills them. Back at the festival, a beautiful human princess is introduced to Prince Aglovale as a potential bride. One of the divers, barely alive, stumbles into the festival and collapses, telling the king what happened before dying. Now furious, King Geralt prepares for war with the sea creatures, but Commander Zeist proposes a better idea. Send Geralt to find and kill the mermaid responsible. Geralt reluctantly agrees, if only to stop the coming war. That night, while camping, ℭ𝔯𝔯𝔮 teases Geralt about Essie again. It's obvious Geralt likes her. ℭ𝔯𝔯𝔮 encourages him to go for it, unlike his raven-haired demon ex. In the morning, Geralt wakes from a nightmare only to be attacked by a vicious sea creature, a vodnik. The fight is brutal, and Geralt drinks a strength potion to overpower it. But instead of killing the vodnik, he lets it escape. He plans to use its blood trail to track the others. Suddenly, they hear someone sneaking up. It's Essie. She insists on joining them to stop the war. Meanwhile, King Yelt lectures his son about duty. Love isn't enough. ℭ𝔬𝔭𝔶𝔠𝔩 says their union could bring peace, but his father dismisses the idea, asking how a man can marry a mermaid or raise kids underwater. Later, ℭ𝔬𝔭𝔶𝔠 and Sheena share a romantic moment on the shore. But when Sheena spots Geralt headed toward the Vodnik den, she rushes off to warn her people. Geralt finds the same Vodnik and demands to know who sent it to kill him. The Vodnik hesitates, afraid of being murdered if it speaks. Just as it starts to confess, Commander Zeist suddenly arrives and kills it. Geralt is furious. He's trying to prevent war, but Zeist clearly wants one. The Vodniks attack Zeist and his men. A bloody battle breaks out. The mermaids arrive to help the Vodniks. One Vodnik nearly drowns Essie, but Geralt saves her with magic. He then threatens to kill Zeist himself, calling him the only real monster. During the battle, a mermaid is mortally wounded. She turns out to be the Queen's cousin. Sheena is devastated but still believes ℭ𝔬𝔭𝔶 had nothing to do with the attack. This must be Zeist acting on his own. She tries to heal her cousin but fails. Later, Essie bandages Geralt's wounds. ℭ𝔱 suggests they meet with ℭ𝔬𝔭𝔶 and Sheena at the shore in the morning to get answers. Geralt fears humans aren't interested in truth. They just want riches from the ocean and view sea creatures as obstacles. The next day, they meet ℭ𝔬𝔭𝔶 and Sheena. Geralt asks if she sent the Vodnik. She denies it and begins to suspect Zeist. After all, he showed up right when the Vodnik was about to reveal who sent it. ℭ𝔬𝔭𝔶 defends Zeist, and the two lovers argue. Hurt and betrayed, Sheena dives back into the sea. Meanwhile, Commander Zeist is forcefully enlisting children into the military. Both sides begin preparing for war, training day and night. Despite everything, Sheena still hopes to stop the war. Molzen gives her a potion that will let her take human form, so she can live with ℭ𝔬𝔭𝔶 and plead for peace. But Molzen has a secret agenda. Elsewhere, Geralt and company find the divers' dead bodies and discover a royal mermaid necklace nearby. Essie thinks the Queen might be responsible, but Geralt suspects something more sinister. He returns to the castle and tells the king he believes someone from the royal mermaid family killed the divers, but not Sheena or the Queen. He reveals the truth. It was Molzen, the Queen's sister. She's a shapeshifter who can disguise herself as a kraken. In fact, the beautiful human princess the king wants ℭ𝔬𝔭𝔶 to marry, that's Molzen in disguise. As the king's court reels, Molzen transforms and attacks before escaping. The king admits he knew all along. He was willing to work with Molzen to sabotage ℭ𝔬𝔭𝔶's romance and start a war. Even Zeist turns against him. King Yelt, enraged, orders Geralt, Zeist, and even ℭ𝔱 and Essie arrested and declares war. Before launching the war, King Yelt decides to hurt Geralt in the cruelest way, by killing his friends in front of him. Just as the execution begins, Zeist throws back a fleet attack, and Geralt, along with his crew, begins fighting for their freedom. Just as they're about to be overwhelmed by the king's army, the mermaid princess arrives, summoning a massive wave that sweeps away the soldiers. That marks the start of a brutal war between humans and sea creatures. Both sides clash in a bloody, chaotic battle. Amid the chaos, Molzen appears and transforms into a gigantic kraken. She kills Zeist by tearing him apart and sends her Vodnik minions to hunt down Geralt. Meanwhile, she herself goes after Princess Sheena. Molzen captures the princess, and Sheena demands to know why she's doing all of this. Molzen reveals her dark secret. She was meant to be queen, but when she couldn't bear a child for the king, he chose her younger sister, Dee, instead. That betrayal pushed Molzen over the edge. Now she plans to kill Sheena and take the throne by force. Just as Molzen is about to kill Sheena, Prince ℭ𝔬𝔭𝔶 appears and tries to save her. But he's defeated by a Vodnik who's about to finish him off, until the king steps in at the last second, saves ℭ𝔬𝔭, and pushes him onto another boat to escape. Meanwhile, Geralt fights off countless Vodnik and eventually confronts Molzen directly. He manages to cut off her hand to free Sheena. But in a shocking twist, King Yelt suddenly turns on Sheena. He cuts off her tail and throws her into the ocean, hoping she'll drown without it. As Geralt continues the fight against the monstrous Molzen, Essie throws him a magical sword. Geralt grabs it and in one daring leap flies straight into Molzen's mouth. From the inside, he slashes her stomach open, spilling her guts. Then he finishes her off by driving the sword straight into her brain. Everyone thinks Sheena is dead, but miraculously she survives, thanks to her mother, who has healing powers of her own. Prince ℭ𝔬𝔭𝔶 stands before the remaining soldiers and tells them the truth. The mermaids are not their enemies. They were only misled and manipulated by those in power. He declares an end to the war and promises a future of peace between their peoples. In the final scene, ℭ𝔬𝔭𝔶 decides to marry Sheena. To be with her forever, he drinks a potion that turns him into a merman. And that's how the movie ends. Thanks for watching, guys. If you love animated movies, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and keep watching.